All right, so we're diving deep into Garware Technical Fibers Ltd. today.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, you've sent us a ton of data on them, and it
Yeah,
seems like they're making some pretty big waves in this whole world of technical textiles.
for sure.
So I guess the question is, are they a hidden gem
Right.
or just another company tangled up in nets?
Good question.
Well, that's what we're here to find out.
Exactly. And you've given us a really great starting point with this snapshot from Screener.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating how they've managed to snag spots in these top 50 and top 25 rankings.
I know.
Clearly, they're doing at least something, right?
Exactly. But, those rankings only tell part of the story, right?
For sure.
We really need to, unravel their financials,
Yes.
their competitive landscape,
Yeah,
their overall growth strategy.
absolutely.
And to be honest, that poor sales growth flag from Screener has me a little worried.
Yeah, I understand that.
Can Garware really overcome that and emerge as a leader in this whole new era of technical textiles?
It is the million-dollar question.
It is.
Let's start with the basics, though.
Okay.
Established in 1976, they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
With a market cap of 7,859 CR, they're not a small player at all.
Right.
They're listed on both the BSE and NSE.
Okay, so not a fly-by-night operation.
Not at all.
But what did the financials tell us?
Right.
Screener is showing a stock PE of 37.1.
Yes.
That seems pretty high, doesn't it?
It does, and that's a key insight right there.
Yeah.
Investors are clearly betting big on Garware's future.
Uh-huh.
But this also means higher risk if they don't deliver.
Right.
Now, their ROCE of 23.1% is particularly impressive.
Okay.
That tells us they're highly efficient at turning capital into profit.
Right.
A great sign for future growth.
So good news on the profitability front.
Yes.
But what about this pesky sales growth issue?
Right.
Screener flagged it as a concern,
Yes.
and I'm eager to understand why.
Let's look at their revenue trends over the past few years.
Okay.
If we look at their profit and loss data, we can see a steady climb from 599 CR in 2013
Okay.
all the way to 1,326 CR in 2024.
Uh-huh.
It's not explosive, but it's consistent.
But is it consistent enough
But
to justify that high PE ratio?
that's a great question.
And how does a company with poor sales growth land in those top rankings?
There's more to this story than meets the eye.
Yeah.
I think several factors could be at play here.
Okay.
We need to consider the overall economic conditions, the competitive landscape,
Yeah.
and even Garware's diverse product portfolio.
Speaking of which, they're not just making ropes and nets.
No, they're not.
I was impressed by the sheer variety.
Oh, I know. It's pretty impressive.
We're talking fishing nets,
Right.
sports nets, aquaculture cages, coated fabrics, agricultural netting,
Yep.
and even geosynthetics.
It's really a lot.
It's like they're the one-stop shop for anything and everything net-related.
That's a great way to put it.
So even if one area is experiencing a downturn,
Uh-huh.
they've got others to cushion the blow.
Right. It is a key strength for them.
But this impressive portfolio positions them well against competitors, right?
It does.
Who are the main players that Garware's up against?
Well, the Indian technical textiles landscape is quite competitive.
Okay.
There are a lot of companies specializing in similar product segments,
Yeah.
but I think Garware's wide reach across various applications gives them a real edge.
So it sounds like a complex web of competition.
It is.
But with such a broad reach, wouldn't they be considered like a large cap company?
That's interesting.
I noticed that they're included in several BSE indices,
Yes.
but some are focused on small cap and mid cap companies.
Right. That is an insightful observation.
Yeah.
While they're a major player, those index inclusions suggest they're still considered a company with significant growth potential.
So they're a big fish,
Yes.
but the pond itself is even bigger.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about their ownership structure?
Right.
Screeners showing consistent majority ownership by promoters
Uh-huh.
at over 50%.
Yeah.
That seems like a strong signal of stability.
Absolutely.
It does.
This level of promoter holding often indicates a long-term commitment
Right.
and belief in the company's future.
Okay.
It's a big vote of confidence from the people who know Garware best.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also seeing that foreign institutional investors and domestic institutional investors have been increasing their stake.
Interesting.
That's got to be a good sign, right?
It seems that way.
It seems like these big players are seeing something in Garware that maybe we're missing.
It does seem that way. Their growing interest suggests confidence in the company's prospects. But, let's not jump to conclusions.
Right.
To fully understand Garware's potential, we need to delve into their recent announcements.
All right.
We've got their Q2 FY25 financial results,
Right.
a bonus share issuance,
Oh, yeah.
and even disclosure of related party transactions.
Okay, now things are getting interesting.
Right.
This bonus share issue has me curious.
Yeah.
What's the real story here?
Well,
Is it a sign of strength? Or just a way to distract from the sluggish sales growth and those related party transactions?
yes.
Are they a cause for concern?
Those are all valid questions.
Yeah.
And we'll unpack them one by one.
Okay.
Let's start with the Q2 FY25 financials.
Right.
Garware reported a revenue of 328 CR,
What?
a slight dip compared to the same quarter last year.
So not exactly the growth spurt we were hoping for.
No, not really.
What's behind this slowdown? Is
Well,
it just the poor sales growth catching up with them, or are there other forces at play?
well, remember those macroeconomic factors we discussed?
Right.
Rising interest rates, inflationary pressures.
Right.
Those could be impacting demand for their products.
Yeah.
Especially in sectors like infrastructure and construction.
Right. And a good chunk of their portfolio caters to those very industries.
Exactly.
So they're facing pressure from a softening demand landscape.
Exactly. And let's not forget the competitive landscape.
Right.
Garware's not operating in a vacuum.
Yeah.
They're constantly battling for market share against rivals with their own strengths and strategies.
So it's a battle on two fronts.
It is.
A tough economic climate
Yes.
and fierce competition.
Right.
No wonder those sales figures are a bit lackluster.
It's understandable.
But what about the bonus share issuance?
Okay.
Is that a sign of confidence or a clever way to deflect attention from the less than stellar results?
Okay.
I'm skeptical.
It's smart to be skeptical.
Yeah.
While bonus shares don't change the fundamental value of a company,
Right.
they can boost investor confidence and liquidity in the stock.
Cool.
It's like cutting a pie into smaller slices.
Yeah.
The pie itself remains the same size.
So it's more about perception than actual financial performance.
Yeah, not entirely.
Okay.
It can also signal confidence in future earnings growth. Those smaller slices might attract new investors who were hesitant about the previous price.
I see. So it's like a way to make the stock more appetizing to a wider pool of investors.
Precisely.
But those related party transactions still have me on edge.
I understand.
While transparency is good,
Yes.
could these dealings be a way to benefit insiders
Right.
at the expense of regular investors like you and me?
That's a valid concern.
It is.
And it's why transparency is crucial.
Right.
We need to examine the details of these transactions
Yeah.
and ensure they were conducted at market rates
All
and aligned with Garware's overall business strategy.
right. So we've got a mixed bag so far.
Yeah.
Garware is a well-established company
Yes.
with a diverse portfolio
For sure.
and decent financials,
Right.
but they're facing headwinds.
Yes.
Their strategic moves, like the bonus share issuance, are intriguing,
They are.
but we need to dig deeper.
I agree.
There's more to this story than meets the eye.
Exactly. And perhaps the most intriguing aspect is their potential expansion into the renewable energy sector.
Oh, wow.
There's been buzz about them exploring opportunities in wind and solar power.
Now that's exciting.
It is.
Could this be the growth catalyst Garware needs
Possibly.
to overcome their sluggish sales
Yeah.
and really take off?
It certainly has potential.
Yeah.
The renewable energy market is booming,
You.
and Garware's expertise in high-performance materials could be a perfect fit.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same company that makes fishing nets?
We are.
How do they go from that to, say, wind turbines?
Think about the materials needed for those turbines.
Ew.
Ropes, cables, specialized fabrics.
Uh-huh.
Garware's expertise in high-performance polymers translates beautifully.
Okay.
It's not a leap, it's an evolution.
Okay, now I'm getting excited. But is this just talk?
Wow!
Or are they truly investing in this renewable energy pivot?
That's what we need to uncover.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for concrete evidence,
Okay.
partnerships,
Uh-huh.
investments in research and development,
Right?
any signs that they're serious about becoming a player in this space.
All right, so this deep dive is turning to a real detective story.
It's a little bit.
We've got a company with a solid foundation,
Yes,
but they're at a crossroads.
they are.
Can they overcome their challenges,
Play.
seize these new opportunities,
Yeah.
and emerge as a true leader in the future of technical textiles?
That's the question we'll be answering as we continue our deep dive into Garware Technical Fibres Ltd.
This is getting good.
Stay tuned.
So we've established that Garware is at this pivotal point, kind of juggling those existing challenges.
Right.
while venturing into this whole new arena.
Yeah.
To make sense of it all, we need to kind of dig deeper into these clues you've provided.
Okay.
Let's revisit those Q2 FY25 results. Did anything jump out at you?
Well, while the slight revenue dip is noteworthy,
Huh?
their profitability margins remained relatively stable.
Okay.
This suggests they're managing costs effectively even in this challenging environment.
That's a good sign, right?
It is.
Shows they're not just slashing prices to chase sales.
Precisely. It points to a focus on maintaining profitability,
Right.
which is essential for long-term sustainability.
Okay, so they're holding the line on profitability.
Yes.
But I'm still hung up on that bonus share issuance.
Okay.
It feels a bit like a magician's distraction, wouldn't you say? A flashy move to draw attention away from the less glamorous reality of slower growth.
It's certainly a possibility, but let's consider the potential benefits.
Okay.
A lower per share price could make the stock more accessible to retail investors,
Yeah.
broadening their investor base.
That's a fair point. More investors could mean more demand for the stock,
Right.
which would potentially boost its price.
Exactly.
But I'm still a bit wary of companies that seem to prioritize appearances over substance.
I understand your skepticism, and it's always important to be cautious.
Right.
However, remember that bonus shares don't alter the company's fundamentals.
Right.
It's a financial maneuver, not a magic trick.
All right, fair enough. But those related party transactions,
Yes.
those are a bit trickier to decipher.
They can be.
I get that transparency is important, but I still have this nagging feeling that something could be amiss.
I think that's a healthy instinct.
Yeah.
These transactions often raise eyebrows,
Rightly so.
and rightly so.
It's essential to carefully analyze the details
Yes.
to ensure they're in the best interests of all shareholders.
Absolutely. And how do we do that?
Yeah, how do we do that?
What should we be looking for in these disclosures?
Exactly.
Well, we need to understand the nature of the transactions,
Okay.
the parties involved, and the rationale behind them.
Okay.
Were the terms favorable to the related party?
Right.
Did the company benefit?
Uh-huh.
These are crucial questions to ask.
So it's not just about whether the transactions are disclosed,
No.
but also whether they pass the smell test.
Exactly. Transparency is a good starting point,
Right.
but it's not the end of the story.
Yeah.
We need to dig deeper,
Uh,
assess the potential for conflicts of interest,
right.
and ensure these dealings aren't detrimental to the company's overall health.
Now let's shift gears to something a bit more optimistic.
Okay.
Garware's potential foray into renewable energy.
Yes.
This has me genuinely intrigued.
It is interesting.
It's a huge market
It is.
with massive growth potential.
Right.
And it seems like their existing expertise could be a real asset.
I agree. It's a fascinating development.
Yeah,
Imagine the possibilities.
I know.
Ropes and cables for wind turbines.
Right.
Specialized fabrics for solar panels.
Yeah.
Their experience with high-performance polymers could be a game changer in this sector.
It's like they're taking their existing strengths
Yes.
and applying them to a whole new playing field.
Exactly.
But how serious are they about this?
Right.
Are they just dipping their toes in the water?
Oh,
Or are they
yeah.
ready to dive headfirst into this renewable energy wave?
That's the key question. Are they allocating resources to research and development?
Okay.
Are they forming strategic partnerships with companies already established in the renewable energy sector?
Right.
These are the signs we need to look for.
So it's not just about talk. It's about action.
Exactly.
We need to see concrete evidence of their commitment to this new venture.
Exactly. It's one thing to express interest in a new market,
Uh-huh.
but it's quite another to actually invest the time, money, and effort to make it a reality.
Well, I'm eager to see how this plays out.
Me too.
If Garware can successfully navigate this transition
Yeah.
and position themselves as a leader in renewable energy solutions,
Right.
it could be a transformative move for the company.
I couldn't agree more. It's a bold ambition,
It is.
but one that could pay off handsomely if they play their cards right.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Financials competition,
Uh-huh.
bonus shares,
Yep.
related party transactions,
Right.
and even a potential venture into renewable energy.
Yes, a lot.
What stands out to you as we piece together this puzzle?
What's striking to me is the contrast
Okay.
between their steady but unspectacular performance in traditional markets and this exciting yet uncertain foray into renewables. It's almost as if they're two different companies operating under one roof.
Yeah, it's like they're straddling two worlds.
Exactly.
The familiar world of ropes and nets,
Right.
where they're a dominant player
Uh-huh.
and this uncharted territory of renewable energy where they're the newcomer trying to
Yes.
make a name for themselves.
And the key question is whether they can find a way to bridge those two worlds,
Right.
leveraging their existing strengths to conquer new challenges.
It's a high-stakes game,
It is.
but one that could have a huge impact on their future.
Absolutely. And it's a story that's still unfolding.
Yeah.
We'll need to watch closely to see how they navigate this transition
Right.
and whether they can truly capitalize on this renewable energy opportunity.
Well, this has been an enlightening deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we've peeled back the layers of this company
Yeah,
and uncovered a lot of fascinating insights.
we have.
But I have a feeling there's still more to discover, wouldn't you say?
You're absolutely right. Every piece of information,
Yeah.
every announcement.
Uh-huh. Every strategic move provides another clue to help us understand the bigger picture.
So what's the next step in our investigation? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think the next step is to look beyond the numbers.
Beyond the number.
You need to understand the people behind Garware,
Okay.
their vision for the future, and their commitment to this renewable energy push.
You're right. It's about more than just spreadsheets and financial statements.
Exactly.
We need to get a feel for the company's culture,
Yes.
their leadership, and their overall strategy.
Exactly. What's their track record of innovation? Have they successfully entered new markets in the past?
Right.
How do they approach challenges and opportunities?
Yeah, these are all good questions worth exploring.
They are. It's like trying to understand the personality of the company.
The personnel.
Are they risk takers or do they play it safe?
Right.
Are they nimble and adaptable or do they get bogged down in bureaucracy?
These factors can make a huge difference in their ability to succeed in a new and dynamic market like renewable energy.
Absolutely. A company's culture can be just as important as their financial performance,
I agree.
especially when it comes to navigating uncharted territory.
For sure.
So how do we get a sense of that culture?
Right.
Is it something we can glean from their annual reports and investor presentations?
Okay.
Or do we need to go beyond those official channels?
Those documents can offer some clues,
Okay.
but we might need to look deeper.
Deeper how?
Interviews with industry analysts,
Okay.
articles in business publications, even social media sentiment.
Interesting.
These can provide a more nuanced perspective on the company's inner workings.
It's like we're investigative journalists,
A little bit.
piecing together this profile of this company.
Right.
And the more we learn, the more intrigued I become.
Yeah.
It's this fascinating blend of tradition and innovation, stability and ambition.
I agree.
They're a well-established player in one market, but they're also a newcomer with something to prove in another.
It's a compelling narrative,
It is.
and one that I think resonates with a lot of investors.
Why is that?
People are drawn to companies that are both reliable and forward-thinking,
Okay.
that can deliver consistent results while also pursuing exciting new opportunities.
And Garware seems to tick both those boxes.
They do.
But there's always an element of risk, right?
Of course.
This renewable energy push could be a huge success,
It could.
or it could fall flat. There's no guarantee.
That's the nature of any investment.
Right.
There are always unknowns, always potential pitfalls,
Yeah, that's true.
but that's also what makes it exciting.
Right.
If there were no risk, there would be no reward.
So what's the final verdict? Is Garware Technical Fibres a company worth investing in?
Well, I can't answer that for you.
Oh, come on.
Every investor has their own risk tolerance,
Okay.
their own investment goals, their own criteria for making decisions.
Right.
But what I can say is that Garware is a company worth watching.
Okay, I like that.
They're a fascinating case study of a company in transition, navigating the complexities of a changing world.
They're a reminder that even well-established companies can't afford to stand still.
That's right.
They need to adapt, evolve, and embrace new challenges if they want to thrive in the long run.
Exactly. And in Garware's case, their future success will depend on their ability to strike that delicate balance between tradition and innovation,
Okay.
between proven strengths and bold new ventures.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given me a lot to think about.
Great.
I've learned a great deal about Garware Technical Fibres, their challenges, their opportunities, and their potential.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
Oh, it is?
The story of Garware is still being written. As they continue to evolve and pursue new avenues for growth, it will be fascinating to see what the next chapter holds.
All right, listeners, there you have it.
Yep.
A deep dive into the intricate world of Garware Technical Fibres.
We did it.
We've explored their financials, their competitive landscape,
Yeah.
strategic moves,
Right.
and their ambitious foray into renewable energy.
That's right.
Now it's your turn to dig deeper. Do your own research and form your own conclusions.
Yeah, exactly.
Until next time,
Yeah.
happy investing.